today's file, yeah?
Yep. Starting
طيب.
from page 67.
نعم أحسنت. طيب go ahead يا أخي.
بسم الله. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله ونبينا محمد ومن والاه.
نعم.
We continue with
نعم.
the
when you say بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. رسول الله meaning the messenger. So you cannot say ونبي الله. يعني رسول الله ونبي الله as if you are saying يعني they are two. You say صلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. That is better. بارك الله فيك. نعم. Unless you mean رسوله ونبيه صلى الله, you understand? This is something else. But anyway, يعني you can say بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. نعم.
So we continue Manhaj as-Saalikeen, starting from page 67. Explanation of Sheikh Haythem Sarhan حفظه الله. Sheikh Haytham Sarhan Hafizullah said, things which are disliked while fasting are 1. Exaggerating in performing al-madmada, rinsing the mouth, and al-instishaq, rinsing the nose.
نعم. So exaggeration when making madmada, يعني rinsing. يعني putting, what is rinsing? What is madmada? That you put water in your mouth, move it, وتمجه, and you spit it out. والاستنشاق, الاستنشاق is to inhale water in. نعم. والاستنثار is to exhale water out. To exhale water out. نعم.
2. Tasting food unnecessarily. Things that are prohibited for the fasting person. 1. Swallowing mucus. It does not break the fast, however. 2. Kissing. If one feels that, it will lead to his fasting being invalidated. 3.
And that leads to it. Kissing leads to that. Leads one to lose control over himself and might do that which is haram. Either by doing that which a man does with his wife or other things. نعم.
قال الذور, which is doing anything haram. 4.
قول الزور. قول الزور is doing anything which is haram. Anything which is haram is قول الزور. نعم.
4. Ignorance, which is foolishness and lack of forbearance.
Actually, I would like you to put the Arabic, because there's something called jahl and there is something called jahala. So we have jahl and we have jahala. Well, jahl means ignorance. Well, jahala means foolishness. And here the Sheikh said al-jahl. Maybe I'll send a message to the Sheikh and see if he means jahala. Because this is the meaning of jahala. نعم.
5. Al-wasl, which is to not break one's fast for 2 continuous days.
نعم. الوصال is to continue fasting and you don't break your fast. And this is haram. نعم. So we have بلع النخامة. Swallowing mucus is forbidden. The person who knows that he cannot control himself, kissing and stuff like that is haram, prohibited for him. Doing that which is haram, obviously is haram. Al-jahala. Al-jahl is ignorance, ya ikhwan. Sheikh bin Uthaymin has spoken about this. That whosoever does su' bi jahala, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran. And Sheikh bin Uthaymin rahimahullah ta'ala said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say jahl because the one who is ignorant, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not punish him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not punish the one who does something out of ignorance. He didn't know. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said jahala. Jahala meaning what? Meaning foolishness. And the Sheikh bin Uthaymin rahimahullah ta'ala, when he spoke about this, he has shown that any person who does that which is haram, this is jahala, because this is what? Foolishness. You're only harming yourself. And I do not remember in which book. And if I'm not mistaken, إن لم تخني الذاكرة, it is the new explanation that was the new volume print. They added a full one full volume to the explanation of Sheikh bin Uthaymeen on Umdat al-Ahkam. So this is in the first volume of Umdat al-Ahkam, if I am not mistaken, insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, the explanation of Imam bin Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala. Na'am.
Rulings regarding making up fasts. It is recommended to make up the fast continuously one after the other.
Why? Why is this? Sheikh Hafidhullah, he said something crucial here. He said, يستحب التتابع في القضاء. يستحب التتابع في القضاء. That it is, that what it means is that when you start making up the days you missed, that you are not able to fast in Ramadan, you do them one after the other consecutively. Why? Because we see this. And if you have seen this, you'll know what I'm talking about. When somebody wants to make up 10 days, for example, he says, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast every Monday and Thursday. 1 week passes by, he didn't fast. Another week passes by, he didn't fast. 3 months pass by, and then he fasts one day, Monday, for example. He fasts one. And so on. So what happens is what? He finds it to be difficult. He finds it to be difficult until there is no time. He says, okay, there's only 1 month. I have to fast now. I have to fast now. And he might end up not making up his previous mandatory fasts, and the new Ramadan starts, which is haram. Na'am.
One should not hasten in making up their missed fasts after the day of Eid.
Because it is haram to fast at the day of Eid. Na'am.
It is not permissible to delay making up missed fasts until the next Ramadan. If one delays making up their missed fasts, i.e., until next Ramadan comes, then they don't have to increase the number of fasts they have to make up, but they're sinning by delaying it nevertheless.
Again, read it again.
If one delays making up their missed fasts, i.e., until next...
Without valid excuse. Add that. Tell our dear brother, Muhammad Rafi, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him. The Sheikh said, in أخر بلا عذر, without a valid excuse. So I believe our dear brothers, they have, the ones that are translating this book, they have missed this word. So please notify them. Naam.
Voluntary fasts. 1. Any 6 days of Shawwal.
Yeah, why did I choose this book? Why did I choose this book? I chose this book because as a starter for us, it's very good to have a book that makes lists for you so that you can easily access the information, right? And this is exactly the purpose of the Sheikh. Yani the Sheikh, he himself, he said what? He said this is only a start. This is only a start. Yani we try in every language to give them a start so that they can continue afterwards. And some of the brothers, they asked me about this before we actually started this. They said, we want a book where we have lists. I want to know the conditions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to know. How do I find them and easily accessible for me? I don't want to go through the hassle of going through books and this and that. You understand? Barakallah fikum. So as you can see, the Sheikh, he says, what is hated in fasting? 1, 2. What is haram in fasting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He gives you a list. So it'll be easier for you to access or memorize or know and so on. So now he's saying voluntary fasts. You want to know what are the voluntary fasts. So now he's going to give you 1, 2, he's going to give you 9. The first one, he said 6 days of the month of Shawwal. For the one who has completed Ramadan. Naam.
Any 6 days of Shawwal for those who fasted Ramadan fully. Additionally, it is better to fast them one after the other, starting from the 2nd day of Shawwal.
Naam. This is what you get when you have a student of knowledge translating. He said any 6 days of Shawwal. Naam. Ahsant. Wallahi barakallah. Make dua for the brothers that are working on this. I believe Muhammad Rafi, Ali, Ayman, the brothers, all of them. Yani, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. Ahsantum. 6 أيام. So they put any there, which is absolutely more accurate. Yani any 6 days. of Shawwal. طيب, now comes a question that is asked every year. طيب, I have days that I did not fast. I need to make up. Can I make them up with the intention of making up the fard, the obligation, and also the 6 days of Shawwal, and also get the reward? You see, the ulama always say your intention has to be to make up the fard. This is the intention. As for if you get the reward for the 6 days of Shawwal, then the bounty of Allah Azza wa Jal is encompassing. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal, we hope and ask Allah Azza wa Jal that we get the same reward. However, when it comes to your intention, you intend making up the fast of Ramadan. طيب, can I fast voluntary, the 6 voluntary days, and then make up Ramadan? No, you cannot. You cannot. نعم.
2. The day of Arafah for those not performing Hajj. 3. The day of Ashura, along with the 9th and 11th of the month.
نعم. Add to this يعني add to this or one of them, because here what we can see, يعني the Sheikh is saying Ashura and the 9th and the 11th. This is exactly what it says in Arabic, but maybe what the Sheikh means is or, because you fast the 10th with the 9th, or with the 11th, or with both of them. نعم.
4. Mondays and Thursdays, with Mondays being more emphasized. 5. Any 3 days of every month, with the best being Ayyamul Bayd, which are the 13th, 14th, and 15th of the month.
No, it seems like you're hungry, Akhi Nur. Not Ayyamul Bayd, not the egg days. Al-Ayyamul Bayd, the white days. The white days. No, the white days. طيب, يعني does that mean, let's see, أخي, let's see, my dear brother Sadiq, does that mean the 13th of January and the 14th of January and the 15th, like this, every month, 13th, 14th, 15th? What do you think, everyone? Sadiq says no. Not the 13th. He's saying the 13th, the 14th, the 15th. Hijri, ahsant, barakallah fik. He's answering me on private. Ahsant, barakallah fik. Hijri, ya ikhwa. We are so used nowadays to January, February. No, what we're talking about, when we talk Islamically, we mean the Hijri. Naam. The Hijri, يعني you call it in English, what do you call it? Lunar calendar. Naam. نعم.
أحسن الله إليك. 6. Fasting alternatively, i.e. every second day.
نعم, and this is the best of Siyam, ya ikhwa. Write this down. This is the best of Siyam, and this is the Siyam of Dawood alayhi salam. This is the best of Siyam, and it is the Siyam of Dawood. And there is hadith about hadith that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said so, and it is sahih. نعم.
7. The sacred month of Allah, Muharram. 8. The first 9 days of Dhul Hijjah.
شهر الله
9.
المحرم, all of it could be that could be what is meant, or most of it. نعم.
The month of Sha'ban, but not all of it.
So 9 of the Hijjah, so شهر محرم, and 9 of the Hijjah, and شهر of Sha'ban. However, not all of it. As for Muharram, I remember reading from some of the fatawa of the ulama that they said, might be all of it. Might be all of it. Some of them said this is what is apparent, that all of it is all right, and some of them said most of it. And I don't, the answer, the fatwa is not present in my head. لا تحضرني الآن. So maybe we can look this up later on, and you can tell me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. نعم. والله أعلم. نعم.
Disliked fasts. It is disliked to single out Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in fasting. But if one singles it out for a valid reason, such as it being the day of Arafah, then that is fine. Impermissible fasts. 1. To single out the month of Rajab in fasting. 2. Fasting on the 2 days of Eid.
نعم, all of this
3.
is haram, huh? نعم.
Fasting on the day of doubt, except for someone continuing their pattern of fasting, in which case it is fine. 4. Fasting on the days of Tashriq, i.e. the 11th, 12th, and 13th of Dhul Hijjah, except for someone who did not find al-Hadi, i.e. in Hajj. 5. Fasting the whole year.
نعم, we have one of the brothers saying all Muharram is okay. نعم, I remember reading this, but I don't have the fatwa in my head. Was it the fatwa of Sheikh ibn Baz? Subhanallah. I should prepare يعني before the lesson, Allah al-Musta'an. But as I said, يعني I don't have the fatwa يعني in my head what they said, and there was more info to this. طيب. How much time do we have? طيب, start with the book of توحيد, the book of Hajj. نعم.
أحسن الله إليك. The book of Hajj. Sheikh Haythem Sarhan Hafidahullah said, Hajj is worshipping Allah by performing pilgrimage rituals according to that which has been narrated from the Sunnah of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Umrah is worshipping Allah by performing tawaf, i.e. circling around the house, i.e. the Kaaba, at the mountains of Safa and Marwa, and by either shaving or cutting, trimming one's hair. Furthermore, the original meaning of al-nusuk is al-dhahbiha, i.e. animal sacrifice. Hajj and Umrah were named as al-manasik due to the hadi and fidya.
فدية. نعم, الهدي والفدية يعني sacrificing animals. ذبيحة as well as say animal sacrifice. نعم.
أحسن الله إليك. Umrah were named as al-manasik due to the hadi al-fidya that they include. Imam as-Sa'di rahimahullah said, the hadith of Jabir regarding how the Prophet performed Hajj, it is based on the statement of Allah. Hajj to the house is a duty that people owe to Allah, those who have the ability. Sheikh Haythem Sarhan Hafidhullah said, the conditions for Hajj to be obligatory are 6.
There we go, another list. Allahumma barik. So we have the for Hajj to be obligatory upon a person, there are 6 things. Number 1, al-Islam. نعم.
i.e. being a Muslim. 2, sanity. 3, puberty. 4, freedom, i.e. not being a slave. 5, ability, i.e. to perform Hajj. 6, in the case of a woman, the presence of a mahram if she needs to travel for Hajj.
نعم. And this is the 6th one can be included in the 5th. The 6th one can be included with the 5th, because if a woman doesn't have mahram, then she's not capable anymore. She doesn't have istita'a. So basically, يعني the Sheikh made it a 6th condition in order to show you, يعني in order to emphasize and highlight how important that is. Because some people nowadays, they are يعني تساهل, there's تساهل. They neglect this and they think it is no problem. Inshallah, لا. If you want to go and worship Allah Azza wa Jal, you don't take an impermissible route, ya ikhwa. You don't take something which is impermissible. It's like someone saying, I will steal in order to give to the poor. Isn't this the cartoons they do in cartoons, right? And when we were growing up, there was a cartoon that he steals from the rich and gives to the poor. He's a hero. No, he's a criminal. He's a thief, because stealing is haram. You don't do that which is haram. And that's why Al-Imam al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala in the Qawa'id, and many of the people of ilm, they always when you study usul al-fiqh and when you study the Qawa'id and the usul, they say al-wasailu laha ahkam al-maqasid. The wasail has the means have the same ruling as the goals, the objectives. يعني you cannot tell me my objective is good and noble and the means that I'm going to do are prohibited and sleazy. لا, أعوذ بالله. You cannot say I want to do something which is mandatory, or I'm going to do something which is mustahab, favorite, and I'm going to, in order to do it, I'm going to do it, the means that I will take is prohibited. No, the end does not justify the means. This rule is foreign, alien to Muslims. There's no such thing as the end justifies the means. No, Muslims, we say, the means take the same ruling as the ends. Write this down. This is a qaida, a rule. The ends take the same ruling as, the means take the same ruling as the ends, the objectives. This is the rule in Islam. Not the end justifies the means. The end doesn't justify the means. So nowadays, some women or men, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us and guide us in them, they would seek somebody out and they tell him, what is the ruling? And he says, no problem. You travel with some women and you can do Hajj. We say, what is the evidence for this? Give me from the Quran and the Sunnah. He listens to someone else and saying, no, this is haram. And he brings him the hadith that there isn't a woman who believes in Allah Azza wa Jal that travels a day and a night without a mahram. Gives him this hadith. So now, what is mandatory upon you to follow? You follow the fatwa of this person, or you follow the fatwa of the other person that has given you evidence, meaning the hadith. The hadith, ya ikhwa, the hadith. So always when we want to get a ruling, or when we want to do an action, when we want to indulge, and this is an advice that I give to myself and everyone else, there is a certain kind of leniency that's going on nowadays, which is absolutely dangerous, evil, and destructive. So somebody wants to engage in business, wants to open a shop, wants to invest. The last thing he thinks about is going to the people of ilm and asking them, why? Are you a scholar? And sometimes when we advise some of the brothers and the sisters, they say, why? You think you're a Muslim and we're not Muslims? Nobody said this. I didn't say you're not a Muslim. What's going on? And this, by the way, you might have heard this from some of family members, friends. We say, no, I'm not pretending to be the only Muslim. I'm just telling you, if you're going to indulge in something, before you go in it, before you dig deep in it, or before you actually start investing and gaining money and feeding yourself and your children, ask the ulama. There might be something which is haram. And I remember a story where somebody wanted to do such a thing, and then we advised the person, and they said, like, we don't know, as if you are the only Muslims, and all of this nonsense. So then it turns out what they asked is what? They asked that you give them a certain type of money, a certain amount of money, afwan, and afterwards they will give you salary, as a certain amount of salary until you die. So what is this, ya akhwa? This is riba, one of the forms of riba. So then when we figured that, when we heard this, we told them, we said, look, Sheikh so-and-so said so-and-so. But then they said, no, it's not exactly the same case, and so on. Anyway, and they said it's not the same case. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best if it is the same case or not. But anyway, what if you did not know and you wanted to indulge in this? Whatever the reason is, and you're like, well, look, my sister or my mother, she is ill, she needs money, and there's this brother who needs this amount of money. If I give him, he's going to give salary to my mother. And La ya akhi, first go and ask the ulama. Go to the ulama and ask. Go to the ulama and ask. Go to the mashayikh and ask. Try to find their numbers. Try to find whatever you can find, people that can get in connection with them before you actually get into these matters. If you want to indulge in something, ya ikhwa, always go back to the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you don't know, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Then ask the people of dhikr, the people of ilm, if you do not know. Go back to the ulama, the people of fatwa. And alhamdulillah, nowadays with this, with social media and so on, there is, they are available. And when we say a person of fatwa, it's not a jahil like me, not an ignorant person like AbdulAziz. No. We are talking about people of fatwa, people that make fatwa. We're talking about mashayikh and scholars. These are the people that you ask. Naam.
Imam as-Sa'di Ahsanallahu alayk, Imam as-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala said, ability here is the most essential condition, which is having provision and transportation after possessing the essentials, which one cannot do without.
نعم, the
And basic,
essentials, this is what Imam al-Sa'di said. And Sheikh Haytham Sarhan put in brackets, he said, essentials meaning what? The ones which you cannot يعني go without. نعم.
and basic requirements, which one can do without, but with hardship and difficulty.
And this is also what Sheikh Haytham Sarhan said. Always, ya akhi, Nur al-Islam, when you are reading, you say like this. You say it like this. You say, well, Imam al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala said, owning that which is necessary, so on. And when you reach the brackets, you say, and the Sheikh Haytham Sarhan, hafidhahullah ta'ala, said, the ones that you cannot, yani that are indispensable. And then you say, and Imam al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala said, and his basic necessities. And the Sheikh Haytham Sarhan said, so and so. And then you go back, you say, Sheikh al-Allam al-Sa'di. You have, as a reader, as a student of knowledge, this is your responsibility. When you are reading, because somebody might be in the car driving. So now what he's listening from you, he's listening that Imam al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala is the one who gave this definition and he did not. So the one who gave this definition is Sheikh Haytham Sarhan. And don't be reluctant or get tired of saying this. Why? As Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala said in his explanation on Sahih Muslim, that every time you mention Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then say Azza wa Jal, say subhanahu wa ta'ala, you get hasanat. Every time you mention the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you get hasanat. Every time you mention the Sahaba, say radiyallahu anhum, you get hasanat. Every time you mention the Sheikh, you say rahimahullah, the one who is dead, you get hasanat. And the one who is alive, you say may Allah preserve him, you get hasanat. Don't get tired of this. And the moment you stop doing this, as Imam Nawawi rahimahullah ta'ala said, then you are missing out on a lot of hasanat, a lot of goodness. Naam.
Ahsanallahu ilayk. Ability also includes that a woman has with her mahram if
this?
she needs. Imam
As-Sa'di,
al-Allama as-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala said, ability also includes that a woman has with her a mahram if she needs to travel. And the Sheikh Haytham Sarhan hafidhullah added, and the mahram must be Muslim, mukallaf, i.e. sane and reach puberty and male. The Sheikh
so he has to be a Muslim, he has to be mukallaf, meaning sane and puberty, and that he has to be as well a male. So as I said, the sixth condition that Sheikh Haytham Sarhan added, he added it out of what? Out of importance, because yani we rely to it. Yani you can rely to it easily nowadays, and it is so important because many sisters fall into this mistake. They think it's no problem, so they travel without a mahram, and this is haram. This is not. This is haram. And by the way, ya ikhwa, also it is your responsibility as a mahram, if you're able to, yani to take her. If she wants to do Hajj and you want to do Hajj, or she wants to visit her parents, travel with her. She's your sister. She's your and so on. And you're her mahram. She's your aunt. Take her. So don't just say no, and then not, if you are able to, not volunteer and take her and so on. Barakallahu fikum. You get the ajr. But what if there are problems and hardship and so on? Ya akhi, you get what you want is not to be pampered with relaxation and with you want the ajr, you want hasanat from Allah Azza wa Jal. This is what you should be looking at. طيب, and Imam al-Sa'di said, and from al-istita'a, being able to, is that a woman has a mahram with her if she needs to travel. So it is part of istita'a, as we said. Who said this? Al-Imam al-Sa'di rahimahullah ta'ala. Wallah ya ikhwa, I love how our Sheikh, who I met briefly, Sheikh AbdulAziz al-Badr, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him, when he ends his lessons, he always makes dua. And one dear brother of mine, Sheikh Ghulam Tahiri, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve him, a dear brother of mine, he also told me once, we were talking about this, and he said, yani you can feel the sincerity of the Sheikh. And we try sometimes, yani to get this sunnah hasana that he does. Yani so he gets also the hasanat. To also make dua at the end of the lessons. Allah اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا ولوالديهم ولذرياتهم ولمشايخنا وعلمائنا وولاة أمرنا وللمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات. اللهم آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. طيب, there will be Q&A إن شاء الله عز وجل.